Faith is not something you explain intellectually. It's like asking somebody, intellectually explain love to me. Well, if love doesn't make sense intellectually, why would you spend that kind of money? Why would you do some of the things you do? Because love is not something that's understood with the head, it's understood with the heart. And the reality of it is that there are times when it's far, far more personal. Because why? We all know this. We all know this because since we were children, we find out situations that we find ourselves in where we're really not looking for an answer, we're looking for a problem. Because when we were a kid and we got injured, we didn't want to know why we were injured. We didn't want to know the circumstances. We just wanted our mom to give us a hug. When you've lost someone and you didn't expect to lose someone, no intellectual answer is going to satisfy your curiosities. No, when you go through tragedy, when you go through difficulties, when you face challenges, when you face circumstances that don't make sense, it's not intellectual answers that we're looking for truly. We are looking for someone who would love us. Because when I went through the darkest point of my life, intellectually, this would make them, but emotionally, when I had my guts blown out by a double-barrel shotgun, when I went through the hardest betrayal and most difficult point in my life, it was my best friend's house that I came to. And he let me stay there. And you know, when I think back to that day, I have no idea what he said to me in that time. But it was him being there. That's what I remember. Because when we go looking for it, what we really want to know is, does somebody love me? You see, people say we want intellectual answers. Intellectual answers are like eating a vegan meal. In an hour, you're hungry again. Because people say, I want an intellectual answer. But you know as well as I do, answers lead to more questions. And there are people who say, yeah, I want to know. In fact, I love this. I research this as one of my personal passions. I watch the debates. I watch people who don't believe anything like I believe. And I remember one debate where they were debating the issue, has science refuted faith? God. Has science refuted God? And I remember Lawrence Krauss said, and Lawrence Krauss, if you don't know, he's a very, very intelligent man. He is a theoretical physicist. He's written many books, very provocative. He said, well, I could believe that God would be God if he were to rearrange the stars and say, I am God, here I am, believe in me. And I'm like, that's not even intellectually honest. Because you know as well as I do, if God did that, you would eventually come around and say, well, that really didn't say that. No, that didn't explain it. You'd come up with 1,000 reasons. Why? Because the day Jesus was baptized, everybody around the Jordan River that day, because there was a large crowd when Jesus was baptized that day, God from heaven spoke. People heard the voice of the Almighty, the same voice they heard when Mount Sinai, and it scared the living, you know what, out of everybody. Well, people heard him. They heard God, but did that make them believe in Jesus? No, because it's not intellect that satisfies the soul. It's personal. Faith is personal. Faith is a matter of the heart. And you know as well as I do, there are times when you just know something inside. You may not be able to give all the rationale and all the reasoning behind it, but you know it's so. Why? Because there's more to us than an intellect.